Hi, I'm Laurence Boulter. I've introduced a new training package aimed at schools called Get It Done Training, and I want to give you an overview of how GiDT can make a difference to the way that your school uses Office 365. GiDT looks at the things you have already identified as targets, the things that your school is aiming towards, and designs a program for you that ensures that you achieve that objective using all the efficiencies offered by Office 365. That way, you meet your developmental aims and make your staff more efficient IT users at the same time. GiDT can be applied to any development theme, but as an example, this video takes a quick look at how Office 365 can work for you when you are refreshing your schemes of work. I think it's useful to start by taking a quick look at how schools traditionally approach refreshing their schemes of work. I think that most schools will recognise the following process. If we look at a typical department, a member of the team might take responsibility for putting together the schemes of work for Key Stage 3 and look to his or her colleagues to support composing and resourcing programs for years 7, 8 and 9. This arrangement is probably replicated for Key Stage 4 or Key Stage 5, where other members of staff have a responsibility for other elements of the subject schemes. At least one member of the staff at this point is the caretaker of the master copy of their scheme, and they probably store this somewhere convenient to them, such as on their network user area or on their laptop. At some point, the schemes of work will be considered as complete and the scheme is shared with the rest of the department and placed in a shared area of the network. This process is mirrored across the school, with perhaps 10 to 20 subject areas producing documentation in this way and passing it on. The schemes are then gathered up by senior management as part of a quality control process and then assembled on part of the network shared by all school staff. Some schools will then place these on their website to make them available to current and prospective parents of their pupils. We can see that this process leaves the network cluttered with iterations of each scheme of work, and this does provoke some issues. But the most vital question a head teacher might ask is, where would I find the scheme that most closely represents what's going on in the classroom? To put this question in IT terms, where is the single point of truth? Almost immediately, teachers begin to do what every head teacher wants his or her staff to do, and that is adapt the scheme to meet the needs of their classes and the individuals in them. They will save out their own copies of the scheme and begin to adapt it and produce additional resources. In time, the scheme is surrounded by a haze of alternative interpretation and resources. I call it a haze because it is impossible to focus on and impossible to see in its entirety. This resource haze will include files stored in many locations and contain repeated resources where teachers have worked in isolation preparing materials. I guarantee that tonight there will be teachers in your school replicating resources in this way. As time goes on, the haze will contain resources that the school has paid teachers good money to produce that are drifting away because they are trapped on a teacher's laptop somewhere or have fallen out of fashion. As a result of this process, some questions become very difficult to answer. Where is the truth about what is happening in lessons in my school? When is the opportunity to monitor and exercise quality control? How do I encourage a collegiate methodology? The tools in Office 365 can really make a difference. Let's take a look at how 365 can make your school more efficient when composing schemes of work. In this scenario, Get It Done Training will begin by working with departments to create a single point of truth. A SharePoint team site can be structured to reflect a level of complexity that more closely matches reality. An approach might be to create libraries for each key stage and provide tools that allow staff to collaborate, create, communicate and coordinate when contributing to these libraries. Imagine your staff making use of the following. The familiar PowerPoint, Excel and Word applications are proven productivity tools for the creation of resources. But did you know that Office 365 web apps now allow these tools to be used on any platform, such as iPads, iPhones and Android devices, as well as the growing number of Windows PCs, tablets and phones? OneDrive then provides staff with the personal storage space that gives anytime, anywhere access and allows files to be shared in early development stages. PowerPoint, Excel and Word now also includes some powerful collaboration tools that allow working copies to be shared and edited, and simultaneous editing provides new ways of supporting each other and sharing expertise and ideas. Just imagine 2 or more staff tweaking a resource together over breakfast before they leave home. Delve actually works out what is important to you and lets you know when there are changes to documents you are working on, as well as keeping an eye on deadlines. When you open Delve, you are instantly provided with links to current documents, including those shared by colleagues. The familiarity of mail reduces the learning curve for staff, but 365 provides tools to bypass email clutter to get to those important tasks. Newsfeed provides a Twitter-like feed that praises communications and allows staff to be more discerning about when and where they want to tackle their inbox. Newsfeed will remind you about tasks and deadlines, as well as providing an instant way of messaging colleagues. Delve works alongside Newsfeed, and it makes sure that you have instant access to your priority files, emails and colleagues exactly when you need them. And when the time comes to present to colleagues face to face, Sway can gather up the information you want to present and compose a stylish presentation in a fraction of the time it would take using PowerPoint. As a manager, Office 365 provides you with a window to the work of your team, and you'll know exactly when to intervene, support or praise. You still have the familiar mail app to keep in touch, but linked to a team calendar on your team side, you can schedule your development and know that everyone is aware of milestones and deadlines. You can even use the task tool to assign tasks to specific staff and know that Delve and Newsfeed will make sure it is prioritised appropriately. Get It Done training pricing starts at £900 for 4 training sessions. If you want to find out more about how Get It Done training can support you and your school, please do not hesitate to pick up the phone for an informal, no obligation chat. Thank you for listening.